Cuyahoga's Most Wanted. Brought to you by American Security, your home's ultimate security.
Good morning, I'm Dan DeRosa with 19 News Now, coming to you from our digital desk. It is time for Cuyahoga's Most Wanted. Every week we feature 3 fugitives who could be on our streets. We need to clean our streets up. We know this. This area has a problem with crime, and we can do it one fugitive at a time. When we feature these fugitives, they have cases that are pending. They're facing serious charges. We just got some new statistics from Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County showing that 58% of the people that have been featured here on Cuyahoga's Most Wanted have either been captured, turned themselves in, or it was a direct tip that led to their capture. We're getting some of these fugitives who know how popular this segment is and how well it works, that these fugitives, once they see themselves featured, they're actually turning themselves in. That is phenomenal. We're going to bring in, as we always do, a detective from the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department. Today it is Detective Nick Riegelmayer. Detective, how are you this morning?
Good, Dan. Thank you.
Detective, thanks for joining us again. The success of this program is tremendous, and it's helping clean up our streets one fugitive at a time. So let's get to our 3 fugitives for this week. Our first case being Brianna Guzman. What do we know about Brianna Guzman?
Brianna Guzman is wanted for failing to appear for trial on multiple felony charges that took place in August of 2022. Brianna jumped into the victim's car and took off. She lost control of his vehicle and a short time later crashed. When the victim actually caught up with her, she took off and began dragging him by the vehicle for over 1,000 foot until he ultimately fell and got hurt. Brianna has a criminal history with priors, arrests and charges for felonious assault, trafficking in drugs, extortion, aggravated robbery, and she has multiple other warrants for her arrest. From Brooklyn to Independence, Strongsville, and everything from drug abuse to grand theft of a motor vehicle and obstruction charges. Brianna Guzman is described as being 5'5" and 180 pounds. She also has multiple facial and neck tattoos, and she was last known to be staying over on the 112,000 block of Fortune Avenue here in the city of Cleveland.
And Detective, when we see somebody who's wanted by Brooklyn, Independence, Strongsville, that's why somebody like this needs to be taken off the street, because not only will they face charges for this theft and stealing the car and crashing it, she'll then move on to the other municipalities and have to face charges elsewhere. This is an individual who clearly does not have a conscience, doesn't care what city it's happening in. She is just out there and apparently needs to be brought in so she can face the charges and a judge. Let's get to our next case here, Elijah Toe. What do we know about Elijah Toe?
Well, he is failing to appear. He's wanted for felony charges for failing to appear in trial on those violent charges. The original incident occurred back in May of 2022, where he is accused of being a member of a group that burglarized a home. And then while leaving, he was shooting at the home and 2 victims were injured, then fled the scene from police. Elijah Toe is being described as 6'2" and 170 pounds. He was last known to be staying at the 114 block of Glenwood Avenue here in the city of Cleveland.
Not only burglary, but drive-by shooting. That's why that individual needs to be in front of a judge and not on our streets. Let's get to our final case today. Jose Vazquez, and anytime we get an individual that has been labeled a sexually violent predator facing charges and has cases out of multiple states, this is not somebody we want on our streets here in Cleveland. Let's walk through the case of Jose Vazquez.
Yes, Jose is wanted for a felony case out of Cuyahoga County for not appearing at his arraignment hearing. So the case stems from 10 years ago, where Jose is accused of sexual contact with a minor under the age of 13. Jose has prior arrests and spent time in jail for multiple offenses: domestic violence, gross sexual imposition, abduction, drug abuse. And back in 2015, he was labeled as a sexual violent predator. Jose Vazquez is described as being 5'6" and 180 pounds. And he was last known to be staying at the 2300 block of Meyer Avenue here in the city of Cleveland.
Those are 3 more fugitives that we hope join that statistic of 58% of the individuals featured here end up either captured, turning themselves in, and a lot of those captures have to do explicitly with people who call in tips. You are eligible for a reward up to a $5,000 reward from Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County if you call in a tip. Detective, we like to remind people, we hear this all the time, snitches get stitches. I don't want to be any part of this. I don't want my name attached to a case that goes into court. That doesn't happen. What happens is making a call helps the warrant unit of Cuyahoga County. Why should people feel comfortable calling in a tip?
Because we do not have caller ID. Our phone calls are not recorded. We don't want your name or any identifying information. It's totally anonymous. You get a tip number and you call it in about 45 days to get that possible reward.
So you call in, you get a tip number, sort of a reference number, if you will, and you can call back later, see if your tip led to that arrest, and you just give Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County that tip number, that identification number that you were assigned, and see if you're eligible for that reward. It is a phenomenal program, and it's clearly working. One more time, 216-252-7463. If you are watching this on social media, you're watching this on Facebook, we know how powerful it is. You hit that share button, your friends start watching this video, their friends start watching the video. Eventually, somebody knows one of these suspects and can make that call, maybe get a little reward money. Money is a magic motivator and can work, and we've seen it work in these cases. Detective, we appreciate the time. Another set of individuals we need off our streets. Thanks for joining us, Detective Nick Riegelmeyer with the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department. All right, take care, Nick. We're going to wrap this up. It has been a wild weather day yesterday. We are in another first alert weather day. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a break. We expect more storms and rain later this evening, which could add to the troubles we're already dealing with. But make sure you tune in to Cleveland 19 at 11. That's on CW 43. Then our noon news on Channel 19. And then 3.5 hours of news when we start at 3 o'clock on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, and this has been Cuyahoga's Most Wanted.
Cuyahoga's Most Wanted. Brought to you by American Security, your home's ultimate security.
Excellent, Detective. Thank you so much. The only thing you missed, I was trying to say goodbye to you, and you didn't say goodbye.
Sorry about that. I didn't catch the pause.
You got the important stuff out, Nick. That's the stuff we're worried about. I thought today was great. I think this was your best one yet. I think each one gets better and better. So excellent, Patricia. Keep us informed, and we'll see you folks next week.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Have a good